Good morning to you. It's Daybreak at iFiber One. I'm Jeff Slakey here on the 15th of December. It is time for some riveting radio real estate. We got Don Pannell in studio. Good morning.
Good morning, Jeff.
How are you?
I am great. How are you?
Perfect.
Good.
Nice time of the year. People starting to wrap things up.
Right.
Christmas present. Maybe, hey, let's go for a drive, honey. I got a present to show you.
Yeah, good buy you a house. Yeah.
Pull up into a driveway with a bow on there.
Wouldn't that be nice? I'd like to do that.
Wouldn't
that would
that
be
be
fun.
something?
That would be fun. If you want to do that, come see me. I would love to help you with that.
We'll even find a bow.
I'll even get a bow. Yeah.
Put it right there on the front door. That
I always
would be
like the
something.
cars that have the big bows
Yeah,
on them. Yeah.
you know, with cars, might as well do it at a house.
Might as well do a house. What the heck? Yeah.
We've been talking over the last couple of weeks on red flags when you're looking at your contracts.
At
and
your
things
title
like that, the
report.
title reports.
Yeah, and I'm getting down to the last of them. Who knew there were this many red
well,
flags?
it's
taken us
important to keep our eyes on these
Yeah,
things.
it's taken us three sessions to get through them all. But the next one is court orders. If you see anything about court orders on there, that's something that you'll want to take a look at further. And this is any judgment against the property that a court has some interest in. So if you see anything that says anything like court order or a judgment on there, be sure and check further to make sure that it's not something that's going to affect your ownership of the property.
What would that be?
Could be like well, the next one on the list is bankruptcy. That would be one court order. Could be an unpaid repair bill, something like that. That they have for some reason or another attached to the title.
So they attach that to the title and not the owner?
Sometimes. So yeah, that's why you need to
Okay.
really. So like if the owner, I don't know all of the details why that would happen, but just if you see anything that says anything about court order,
Yeah.
be sure and check into it further. And so the next one is bankruptcy, and that it's not that unusual. You do see bankruptcies, but what you need to check on is if the bankruptcy requires that the owner of the property get permission from the bank or the court or the trustee to sell the house or the property. And that should be on your title report if that is a requirement. And if it is, then obviously you want to make sure that the title company is working on getting that resolved before you close on the sale. And it isn't always the case that that's required, but if it is, that will be listed on the title. That this, for this particular bankruptcy, to sell this particular asset or home or property in this case, the owner will need to get permission. So be sure and follow through on that. And then there is one that's called a notice of pending action, and I learned about this in real estate school. It's called a lis pendens. I always thought that was kind of a cool term to throw around. This is lis pendens, and that is always a red flag if you see that on there. And what that means is that someone has a lawsuit pending against this property. So and it will affect obviously your ability to purchase
Sure.
this property until it's resolved. So if you see that, make sure that you get that clarified with the title company, make sure where they are in the process of getting that withdrawn. And there actually has to be something on the title that says that there is a withdrawal of lis pendens. So if there is a lawsuit pending, it needs to be resolved, and it needs to be noted that it's resolved on the title.
Wow.
So yeah, that's a pretty big one. So yeah, if you see that, alarm bells should go off, and you should really be doing some pretty major thinking about that, whether you want to get involved in that or not.
I was talking to somebody the other day involved in law enforcement. They were talking about a case where there is a property and there is an ongoing, a case or a looking into this property would be going on for a while. So it's under the conservancyship or estateship of somebody, and they have to basically sit on it until the law enforcement say, okay, we've done our work, we've looked through, we've collected everything we need.
Yeah.
Have you heard of cases where this will take a very long time and people may try to move on this property without even explaining that as possibly something that's going on?
I suppose that would be a possibility, but again, that's, you know, the buyer beware, and you should be looking at these things.
Would something like that show up on a
It
flag
should,
report?
and that should be one of those things that are under the court orders and judgments.
Okay.
Part
Yeah.
that could be an example of that, but yeah, it's really up to the buyer in this case to really do their due diligence and make sure, and that's why you want a good relationship with your title officer or your title company through your realtor to make sure that you're getting all of these things looked at. As we said in the beginning, it's kind of daunting sometimes to get this multi-page title report, and sometimes people just kind of put it aside and say, oh yeah, okay. But it's really important, as we've seen, to kind of go through that and make sure that everything is on the up and up. And the last one is kind of interesting, and it wasn't something that I would have thought of. But when you sign up with the title company, you get this thing in the mail, usually fairly early on, and they want a bunch of information for you and from you. And sometimes people balk at that and they say, well, why do we need all this information? Well, it's possible that, especially if you have a very common name, that there could be information on there that either isn't you or isn't the seller. So say that the seller of the property's last name is Smith, there could be something on the title that is a different Smith.
Oh.
But it somehow got associated with this particular property. So both the buyer and the seller need to fill out this information sheet that the title company sends you so that they can verify who you are.
Sure.
And who you and make sure that the person that's listed on the title of this property is indeed the person who is selling it, and not some other person that something got transferred there because it was a common name.
Yeah. Oh,
so
man.
yeah, I didn't think about that one, but yeah, it's you know, again, especially if you have a common name, but sometimes even if you don't, different information can get transferred. I know a lot of times one of the documents that you sign when you close on a house is a list of aliases, and I always thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And I've seen cases where there are names on there that people had no idea who this person was or how it got on their list of aliases. Usually it's just a maiden name or a nickname or something
Sure.
like that. But sometimes it can be total strangers, and somehow their name gets associated with you.
Wow.
And you have no idea why. So it's a good idea to make sure that check things like past addresses, past employment records, those kinds of things. Seems like almost an invasion of privacy that a title company would want to know all of that stuff, but it's so that they can make sure that there's a clean transfer of the property title.
Huh.
So, yeah.
And a lot of, I think we talked last time that the title company and the folks there should look through these portions. But should you think about bringing somebody with you for another set of eyes, or?
If there's any question at all, certainly. I mean, that's the first thing they tell you, that if you see one of these red flags as you're going through and you're concerned enough about it, then by all means talk to an attorney or somebody that you trust to go through it with you. Because it is important.
Yeah.
It's you would hate to get down to signing the closing documents and all of a sudden realize, hey, first, number one, this person doesn't have the right to sell this property, or the property belongs to somebody else, or there's an encroachment on it that you didn't know about, or easement on it that you didn't know about. And a lot of times, I know I don't always, but most of the time I do, when I write up a contract, I will put an addendum in there that has to do with title, so that it gives the person that I'm writing the contract for the opportunity, if there is something on the title, to back out of the deal and still get their earnest money back, just as a precaution, as an extra safeguard against something bad happening.
Yeah.
So that's is always something that you can ask for if your realtor doesn't suggest that when you're writing up a contract. I've very rarely seen anything where we've had to use that, but it has happened where people invoke that title contingency to get out of a deal because
Sure.
there's something on there that scares them.
So this is your last show of 2017.
It
so do you want
is.
to make any bold predictions for the housing market of 2018?
I am hoping that it will be the same or better.
Robust?
That's always, yes, it has been robust this year. It's been a good year. We've talked about the lack of inventory. So I'm hoping that that will improve in the new year. So I guess when I see you after the first of the year, I will
Do you
kind
have
of
any
get an
reports?
indication. I'll hopefully have some new listings that I can share with you. And if you are out there and you have a house that you want to sell, or one that you want to buy, or if you want to move, or upsize or downsize, I would be happy to talk to you. It would be an honor to help folks find their new home.
Pass out the phone number.
It is 360-490-4493. And as I always say, you can find me at the corner of 3rd and Railroad. If I'm not there, they know where I am. So come and find me. I'd love to sit down and talk with you. Even if you have any questions on the process, I would love to talk with you about it. So,
Well, Don, have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
Have a Happy New Year. Tell Ron hi and Happy Merry Christmas to him.
Thank you. And you and your family as well. And all the listeners out there, have a very Merry Christmas.